Form us into your image. The image that you created us in. The image that you are recreating us in. Help us, Lord. Help us to hear your word and to apply it into our daily lives. For this we pray. Amen. We are in our 6th week of our descriptions of the disciples, the Beatitudes. And this week we come to blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. I spent a lot of time that I could thinking about pure of heart, or purity and stuff this week. And I realized that purity is something that's very rare in this world. That as a chemist, I was constantly striving to get something to be pure. Even our reactants in trying to get the purest of water to have as a medium was almost impossible. And here is pure of heart. And I thought about how difficult it really is to be pure in heart. I mean, pure in heart is someone that has a perfect integrity. Someone that is never devious in any way, shape, or form, that has no malice or ill intent for someone else. And I think that even the best of us, at some point, have probably got mad at a driver cutting us off and may have had some malicious words to say at that moment, or at least a malicious thought. I'm sure we've got mad at a kid in the schoolyard when we were playing that did something we didn't like, a sibling, a spouse, a friend. That to say that any of us without Jesus have been able to be pure of heart, I think would be an almost impossible task. You see, I think that Wesley might have had it right. You know, John Wesley, our founder of Methodism. He talked about 3 forms of grace, and the third form of grace was perfecting grace, sanctifying grace. And I say that I think he had it right because I think that the way Wesley talked about how this works is that with the Holy Spirit entering into us, God begins to perfect us. He begins to refine us. And so I went back into my chemistry and I thought about how we would refine the chemicals that we were using. We would distill the water, and we would not just distill it once, we would keep going and distill it over and over and over again until it became purer and purer. And I think that is what Jesus is really kind of calling us to. Is that he's not saying that we're automatically going to start out as pure of heart, but it is something that we should be striving for. And in striving for that goal of being pure in heart, we need to allow God to enter into our lives and work in our lives, refine our heart. Distill out the impurities, the negativities, the places where we allow our anger and malice to get the best of us. And I think we're all works in progress. We're not there to fully pure yet, but then we're also not there standing at the throne of God yet either. We're working toward that, right? And I think that when we have that intention, when we desire to be pure of heart and we allow God to come and work in our lives, then we are living into what Jesus is calling us to. And we are beginning to purify our think about purity and stuff, I also like to think about some of the metals. And I thought about some of the shiniest metals. That if you were to take, let's say, gold, and you were to completely purify it, and you were to remove any blemishes from a sheet, you can actually make it reflective. And if we were to have hearts of gold, that we were to purify and to shine and to polish with the power of Jesus, maybe they'd be able to reflect Jesus out into the world. And if we became a people that reflected Jesus into the world because of the purity of our hearts and the goodness of our hearts, then we would also change this world as his disciples. So blessed are those who are pure of heart, for they shall see God. May we learn to purify ourselves and learn to trust in Jesus and his work in doing that in our lives. May we be the people that become pure each and every day as we move closer and closer to seeing God in his fullness. May we see him a little bit more each day, though, as we become pure and purified.